Welcome to the Koso Connections podcast, where the ancient art of Japanese fermentation science meets modern natural health. Embark with us on a journey of transformation, exploring age-old wellness practices through inspiring discussions, expert advice, and personal stories. Discover how these traditions can revolutionize your health and well-being today.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Koso Connections, where we bring real people, real stories, and real healing to the forefront. I'm your host, Nicka.
Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to be here today. Really, I'm honored to have Angel Popolo with us today, someone who's actually been on a journey of transformation. She's going to be an inspiration, and she'll be able to speak and tell you her story here in a few minutes. So welcome, Angel, and go ahead, Karen. Let's hear from Karen now.
Hi, I'm Karen Monzingo. I'm so excited to be here today with our friend Angel. Her story isn't just inspiring, but it's also relatable. You guys are going to love what she has to share with us today.
Well, Angel, I mean, now the table or the show is all yours. We'll let you take over, and please let us know about your life and your story. So go ahead, just relax and let it go.
Okay. Well, I'm Angel. I'm 53, and I've been married to my husband for 25 years. He is a retired Army veteran, and we have 3 kids, 22, 20, and 17. We've lived back and forth across the country, and before we even got married, I was from another part of the country. He's from another part of the country. But we settled here in Tennessee, and I run my own embroidery and printing shop during the day. And work on myself the rest of the time. But I really started to hit issues when I turned 40.
So, Angel, what happened at 40?
So right before I turned 40, I went in because I was tired, exhausted. My doctor said that I needed to see a hematologist because my iron was low. Took a month to get that appointment. By the time I got to him, it was so low, he immediately sent me to the hospital to get 2 blood transfusions on my 40th birthday, which is the only reason I remember when it happened. So during that, he also diagnosed me with hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's. And I went on IV iron for 6 months, once a week. And then they're like, you're bleeding somewhere. My family has a history of issues with ovaries and all that fun stuff. So they decided that maybe that's where you're bleeding. So I'm like, I'm good. I'm done having kids anyway. Go ahead and take it. So I had a hysterectomy. I was good for about 3 months. And then I was back in his office for IV iron again. And so he decided to throw a net because he's like, there's no reason you should be bleeding. And he found out that the blood work came back saying I had celiac, and then I had to have a upper GI to confirm it. The doctor told me he'd have to take a biopsy, but when he got done, I was like, how long will it take before I get the biopsy back? And he's like, I don't even have to send a biopsy in. You've got the worst case of celiac I've ever seen in my life. I was like, oh, great. Yay. So that's how we found out why my iron was low. With celiac.
Wow.
Well, misdiagnosis or mistreatments are, well, I shouldn't say a regular event, but they've been more regular in the last 10 to 15 or 20 years than they were maybe in decades before. I think that it's a lot easier for people to just say, here's your prescription and go home, as opposed to trying to find out what the core issue is. But I guess that's something that you've already realized with our company and probably on your own. But I think probably I'm going to turn this over to Karen and let Karen ask you some questions as well, too. So, Miss Karen?
Yeah, that's so heartbreaking. I know for myself, too, misdiagnosis it's such a real thing. And honestly, every time I go to the doctor, they're trying to give me a prescription of some kind. And I'm like, no, but like, what is wrong? And they're like, we don't know, but take this and take this and take this. And I don't even want it. So, since you started taking Koso products, how has that changed for you?
Well, there was a lot in between all that before I found Koso. We're still here. I mean, there's probably there was almost 10 years between Hashimoto's diagnosis and the celiac diagnosis, which was not long before COVID. And when I found out I had celiac, of course, the only thing that I can do is go on a diet. So I went on a gluten-free diet, which turned into 30 pounds because if you know anything about hypothyroidism, you, you tend to gain weight. And everybody always thought I was misdiagnosed because I was thin. Well, as soon as I fixed my celiac, Hashimoto said, oh, it's my turn. And so it just put weight on. I went from doctor to doctor. How do I fix this without medication? You know, because celiac you can't fix with a medication. And they just told me that if I don't lose weight and stop eating so much, they're going to put me on a weight loss pill. And I was like, nope, not going to happen. So I went and did my research. I found a nutritionist to work with me. She specialized in women over 40 who had medical issues. She taught me how to eat properly. That's when I started cleaning my diet with pulling out artificial stuff and dyes, seed oils, anything that I knew would cause even. I went from that, started working out. Got to the point where I was still having some issues with celiac, and I could not get over the last 5 pounds that I was trying to lose, and that's when I saw Karen do her little shake thing, and I was like, you know, I talked to my husband, and I wasn't going to do it because I was like, you know what, that is so expensive. I go, we can't afford it, and he's like, stop. He goes, first of all, it's only $3 a day, so shut up. He goes, second of all, he goes, you buy all those protein powders. He goes, and this is way better. He goes, buy it and see what happens. So we bought a bag and we both started it. And I will tell you, the guy will not touch any of my protein stuff. Absolutely none of it. Because he's like, that is nasty. It stinks. It's yucky. It tastes gross. He drank this and he'll add like two scoops of it. He's like, I want an extra chocolate, you know? So if I can get him to take something, that means there's something right with it, you know? And that's how I found that. It ended up taking out the rest of my celiac pain, and it bumped me to reach my weight loss goal and allowed me to start building my muscle instead of worrying about losing weight. I was now gaining muscle.
Oh, Angel, I love how you went all in, raising your own chickens, eating real food, no more seed oils or dyes. I mean, that's commitment, right, Angel?
Yeah. We actually started raising our own chickens 4 or
Love
5
it.
years ago, right around COVID, I guess it'd be what it is. We have 30 chickens. We actually got babies that are being sat on, I guess. Next week we should have 20 new chicks. The mama's sitting on them right now, so we let them hatch their own babies. And I have stacks and stacks of eggs up here. So we live on lots and lots of eggs. So
Well, I mean, going back to nature, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I mean, our company is actually based on going back to nature. So we're really well aligned. I'm really interested because your story is kind of fascinating. You have your husband, obviously, is really probably a very strong, tough guy. And he's probably got a lot of skepticism about things. I'm kind of interested. Tell us really what has really occurred in this short period of time, because I think it's been, what, 3 or 4 months since you were introduced to our company?
it's been about 6 months. Yeah.
My
So
apologies, 6 months. Yes, my
I
apologies.
started my journey 4 years ago. and he did not want to have anything to do with it. He thought macros was crazy and trying to figure out the right foods. And he's like, I want to eat pizza. I'm going to eat pizza. Take it. He has his own pizza oven in our kitchen. He's a chef. So he's Italian. And of course, his wife has celiac and can't have the so no pasta or pizza for me or bread, but he makes the stuff all the time. But he did after about a year and a half, 2 years, he saw what it was doing to me and how it was helping me. And he decided to do his own journey. And he started with removing caffeine. And then he realized he went to a soda that wasn't Mountain Dew. He went to a different one and realized it wasn't necessarily the caffeine that was causing the problem, but it was the dye in the in the soda, because he went to like orange Fanta or something. And so he slowly pulled out stuff that he did, and he's the one that pushes the grass-fed beef and tallow. He was the big pusher with going back to tallow and getting rid of seed oils. So he's done a lot of research himself. He's just gotten to the point where I am a different way, which is good because now we both have different ways of doing stuff and we have different things coming to the table to make us healthy. And then I introduced the Koso because he kicked me in the butt and said, just do it. And he's not as consistent as I am. He'll tell me every day that he does not have the discipline that I have. He's not going to be the one that goes out and gets on the elliptical every day. He's not going to go take a walk. He's not going to go work out. But he'll go in his wood shop and lift heavy stuff all day long. And he's the gardener. So we have probably about 500 plants that are ready to go in the ground. And I kill everything. So I let him do the gardening. I do the chickens. I can keep those alive. So we reached our goals together. And he's still working on his. But since we started Koso, he has been had more energy to do more stuff. So in that time period, he's lost 30 pounds. He is the first time. It's the first time he's been under 300 pounds.
Wow. That's amazing.
Since he left the military in 2017. So that's huge for him. So Koso kick-started him a little bit quicker because it gave him the energy. It got rid of that foggy brain. For me, I was already so far into my journey that the biggest things that I noticed were more the little things that I could not get rid of, like the crap in the back between your nose and your throat. It just sat there and you're like, you couldn't rinse it out. Yes. You couldn't choke it out. So that's what the SBS and the Bio 88 ended up helping me with. The shake ended up getting rid of the rest of my pain in my stomach. So I've slowly moved into all of them. I've started using the gel and the Maja lift and the crystal. The crystal is fabulous after my workouts that leave me a little pain. Or my arthritis. I have arthritis in my feet that I needed to have surgery. And my surgeon, which actually I was told when I was 21 I'd need surgery. And she didn't want to do it because I was too young to be laid up for 6 months. And every doctor since then told me that she was full of crap. And finally I found another one because I was getting to the point where I couldn't walk. Wow. And so I went in and I was like, okay, what can we do? And he's like, well, she was right. You do need to have surgery. I don't have the cushion between my big toe and my foot. I never had it. And so it causes a lot of pain. But he goes, if you're walking 5 to 8 miles a day, he goes, I'm not doing anything until you can't walk. He goes, because all it's going to do is hinder your progress that you've already made. Because at the very beginning of my journey, when I got my coach, I ended up getting a hairline fracture in my ankle that they missed. They just told me that I pulled a tendon. So I was in a boot for 6 months, which of course made it worse. So I ended up having the choice of surgery or be in a boot for another 6 months and prayed that it worked. I was like, just do the surgery. So at the very beginning of everything I started, I hit a wall, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's one thing after another. But all these products are taking all that away, and I feel like it's working inside out, and it's working from top to bottom. So Hashimoto's causes hair loss, causes dry skin. And I was using tallow because I could not find anything else that didn't have some sort of chemical in it that didn't affect me. I have extremely bad allergies, especially on my skin. I put anything on my skin and I turn bright red. So I was like, Koso's the only one that does not turn my skin bright red. I was like, woohoo. But I still have a little bit of dry at the near my ankles, but it's like it's moving down. And even my husband the other day, I used to have Hashimoto's gives you this little rash.
Correct. Yes.
And he's like, your bumps are gone. Where are your bumps at? He goes, they're not on your legs. They're not on your arms.
Right. They're in the garden. They're in the garden, right? Yeah. On the chickens. On the chickens.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the only other change I did with all of that was I did some research on my Synthroid. And it's the only medication I'm still taking that's prescribed. And I was like, there's got to be something wrong. So I searched the ingredients, and believe it or not, it has wheat in it. It's just not at the level the FDA would say this causes issues. But it had wheat, it had talc in it, and it had these weird dyes in them that were not approved to use in food. And I'm like, but you can use it in medicine? It was approved for medicine and cosmetics, but not food. And I was like, I need off this stuff. So I begged, borrowed, and stealed with my PCM, and she was willing to switch me to the desiccated, which is natural pig thyroid. And life has been, between that and the Koso, life has been wonderful.
I just want to interject, Angel. Have you ever heard about the core reset? Have you ever heard anything like that here in the United States? Core reset. Have you ever heard that terminology?
I went to see a natural doctor, and they had me do a detox, which is kind of, I think, what you're talking similar. But I couldn't take the products they wanted me to take. They made me sick.
Yeah, a little. Yeah, it's a little bit different.
Okay.
Core reset means that when you have lack of digestive enzymes, which sounds like you really had in your earlier childhood, when you're getting those particular microbes back, they, in their own world, they all actually help you to reset things that are in your inner body that were off balance. Detox is the elimination of what it means, toxins. Core reset is what Koso does. It basically helps you to reset, because it's almost like it goes to wherever the weakest part of your body is, and it strengthens it. So, for example, if you're prone to allergies, it's because it's your immune system that's causing that, right? So if your immune system is weaker, then the Koso will then help you adapt. We call them adaptogens, so to speak, and you get a little bit stronger. So if you have joint issues, then it will help those hormones that help to lubricate your joints. So that's core reset. Probably in the many years that you were doing all of those things, nobody actually talked about resetting you like you would reset a switch in a wall. What they did is it said, yeah, here's the Band-Aid. Here's the Band-Aid. Let's take the Band-Aid,
that's
right?
the thing. I kept asking them, what caused it? What causing it? What is causing this? And everybody just like, no, take this, take this, take this. I don't want to take it. So I did my own research. So much research. And I think that, everybody always says that it's either the celiac that caused the Hashimoto's or the Hashimoto's that caused the celiac, because 80% of people with Hashimoto's has celiac, which most people with Hashimoto's don't know. But I actually took it back because I was like thinking to myself, I've never been one that liked bread, and I've never one that really liked pizza. I would eat like half of a burger and then take the inside out and leave the bread, half of a hot dog. And I kept going back, and then my mom brought something up, and she told me that they said I was lactose intolerant when I was a child. Never had issues with lactose at all. None whatsoever. I'm like, you know what? I bet you, because way back in the 70s, my mom did not breastfeed. What did they give kids? They gave kids cereal. What's cereal made out of? Wheat.
Right.
So I honestly think I've had celiac my entire life, and it caused my Hashimoto's because nobody caught it. And so even though my body was trying to tell me, you don't want that, I'm now realizing that's what my body was doing. They're like, nope, you don't want that. Put it away, you know. And I've never been one that liked all the pastas and all that stuff. It was never something that I enjoyed. But that's where I think it was. It was when I was born with celiac, and nobody, I don't know if they even knew what celiac was in the 70s, because you don't really, they hear about it. I know they had people that were diagnosed back then, but it was never huge. You know, it was more, I knew a lot of kids that were lactose intolerant when they were kids, you know, and it's more because they were given a cereal instead of breast milk.
Well,
So
we call that fumigation. Yeah, it's a better word. I call it fumigation. But Dr. Angel, actually, you're quite right. I mean, I'm actually quite surprised by your knowledge, and you're really broad about understanding all of this. That food actually caused a lot of what I talk about. A lot of what the Koso Med crew talk about is foods and how they're so destructive in our society. Not only cereal, but the favorites of a lot of the kids, like macaroni and cheese.
Mhm.
Where's the cheese? Fast food. You go with it. Where's the burger? So a lot of what you're saying
Oh,
is done. You self-studied. It's very good. It's
yeah.
very good. Yes.
Well, and
Go ahead.
between my husband and I, we realized that we were luckier than our children, because we grew up at least 10 years before the processed food started coming in, because that was the early 80s when it started showing up in our house. So we had a good almost 10 years of real food before, because my husband will pull up Gatorade and what the ingredients were when he was a kid versus what the ingredients are now. And it's totally different. So our kids have been raised completely on this processed poison, is what I like to call it, where we at least
Angel
had a
dust.
few years where it wasn't so bad, but, I still can't get my kids out of it, but we're getting there slowly.
Thank you so much, Angel, for sharing your story. I so appreciate that. Like, it's just been such an incredible journey for you, and you're so strong, and I'm so proud of you. I've seen such differences in you since you've started, just in your skin and your demeanor and energy levels and all the things. So I'm really happy that we connected, and this has been making such a big difference for you.
Yes, Angel, you've gone from survival mode to thriving, and now you're helping others do the same too. That's what Koso Connections is all about. That's the heart of this podcast. So, Angel, you've clearly had great episodes, but when someone asks you about Koso, how do you usually explain it or recommend it to others too?
So, when they talk to me about Kuso, it's usually because they've already come to me. I've started health coaching. They want to know how to lose weight. They want to know what I'm doing. So I'm just honest. I explain to them everything I've done. I explain that Kuso I use it personally for after my workout shake. But a lot of people use it as their breakfast. It's good anytime. If you add the tablets, you're going to now clean out bad stuff and the bad bacteria, and you're going to bring in the good bacteria. The best part is that this product allows your body to absorb the vitamins and minerals that your body is not absorbing because it's in a disarray. And so that's what I've started to notice, is that it's absorbing all the real food I'm actually having on top of the real food that Koso is. Koso is not a supplement. It's not full of added supplement. It's not adding vitamin D and vitamin E. Anything that adds a vitamin means they stripped it to begin with. Koso is not that. Koso is real food. But this real food allows you to eat other real food and gain the important stuff from that food. Because a lot of people will notice they'll eat something and boom, it comes right out. That means you're not getting any of the nutrients from it. So Koso allows your body to not only absorb what Koso gives you, but absorb every good food that you put in your body, which has healed my gut to the point where it's healing my body from the inside out, and I'm not having the same symptoms of Hashimoto's or of celiac as I used to. Do I still have it? Yes. I will probably always have it to some extent, but this is helping heal that to a point where I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to be the person that says, oh my God, I can't go out today because my stomach hurts. I can't go anywhere because I feel crappy. I can't get out of bed. It doesn't do that anymore. Now I'm in control of the disease instead of the disease being in control of me.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Just real quick to close out, just in simple words, what would you say to someone who is experiencing the same thing as you and they haven't started their journey yet?
Don't wait. Don't wait.
Wow.
Start today.
Wow.
Start today because you may not be here tomorrow.
Wow.
Start today.
Incredible.
So to everyone listening, if you're on a healing journey, don't give up. Angel's proof that the body wants to heal, and with the right tools, it can. So to our amazing listeners, thank you for being part of this journey. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. So you can find more about Koso Super Drink and other Koso Super Med products in our show notes, including how to get started. So until next time, stay strong, stay connected, and stay happy.
Bye bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you. Arigato gozaimashita.